Hi, I'm Bob Dietrich, and this is my first guitar upgrade. I've decided to put the EMG 81 and an EMG 89 into an Epiphone SG. The EMG 81 is very straightforward, goes into the bridge position, you could hook it up, and it's very standard wiring. But the 89 has two modes. It's got a single coil mode and a humbucker mode, which the SG isn't set up. It's only set up for two coils with its switch. So the trick is on the 89 to bring in an extra switch, which is a double pole, double throw. This will allow you to switch between the single and the humbucker. In the schematic, I've jotted down a few notes from what I've figured out. I got the schematic online. The orange number 1 position, when that is connected to the yellow number 5, then the output becomes the white number 6. When you switch the switch and the orange is connected to number 2 blue, then your output becomes number 3 green. So that's where this switch comes into play. There is a way to set it up for a standard Strat switch. This is bigger and we'll have a hard time fitting it into the guitar. So I'm going to stick with the original plan. But here's the schematic I came up with, if you can follow this, where the main output in green is the normal output, but the bridge comes in on white in the first position. Then I've got it connected to the second position, and that's when the 89 comes into a second position. Then as you go to the third position, the 89 is the only one. As you go to the fourth position, then that's where the switching comes around from one mode to the other. And then down in the fifth position, you would get the 89 only. So you can do it. I just don't think I have room for it. So it's all hooked up, and I've got the amplifiers on. That's what you would expect in the first position, just the lead pickup. Now there's both. And now we switch to what should be just the neck. Yep, no output there. And so that's functioning exactly the way you would think. And then we switch over, and you still, and you get the other mode for the 89. One thing that I've done as well, and I've got two different amplifiers, is I'm thinking about having two outputs. You can get two different plugins and two different outputs. So what would end up happening is I would have the lead pickup in the bridge outputting all the time to one of the connections. I don't know if I have room for this, but we can test it as well. So this is the other pickup with the other amplifier. Then when we switch to both, you're still going to get both, the way the wiring ends up. But then when you go to the next position, you're only going to end up hearing, that's out of the lead, but you won't get anything out of this one because it's on the other amplifier. So there's a possibility of hooking this up with two outputs. It's a matter of whether I can find a place to actually put it in here. The switch is the same size switch. The pots should be the same. Now here is the main output. So maybe I can find a way to put the output out here. I don't know if I'll have room with the other pot in place. The other thing I want to do is change the battery. I don't see a good place to put a battery in the guitar. So I'm thinking about making it external. I've got a couple of barrel connections that I may then put the battery external. Also, what you may see here is I've outlined a keep out area so that it's always covered by the pick guard. So I ended up just putting a piece of paper on here, measuring off some distances, cutting it out with an X-Acto blade, and using that as my template to trace around here. So I'll have to cut into the guitar probably somewhere here to put the switch in place, and I'll have to be careful on the depth that I put into that switch. It's kind of deep. Then the other challenge will be routing the wire, because it'll come from the pickup, and I'll have to be able to route the wire to the switch and back. So I don't want to tear up the wood any more than I have to, but that's going to be one of the tricks of the project. I found the 81 and the 89 online used at reverb.com. I've picked up some of these other parts off the internet. There's many places to go. DigiKey, Mouser, Newark, All Electronics is another one. Even eBay, you may find some of the parts. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. I've got everything wired. I've got these connections, which I'm not sure whether I'll be able to keep the connectors. If I don't have room, I may have to hardwire everything. But we'll see as I get into it. Thanks.